Hello everybody, welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. Every time, she does this every time. That was Freya, my fuzzy co-star. I'm Jason, bringing you today's video. As always guys, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. Got a bunch of videos coming out for you guys. And small family channel, love to talk about books. We appreciate any support you guys might want to give us. So I don't ramble on too much, just check down below in the description for all the various links, our Discord, our Patreon, thank you guys. Books that I talk about, anything I can think of, just check down below. I'll put as many links as I can, thanks to suggestions from some of you guys. And today's video is also a suggestion from our viewers when I talk about these little roll-up multi-author, multi-book videos that I then also feature them individually. So today I want to talk and feature author Iain M. Banks. It's going to be a shorter video. A lot of these feature videos are going to be shorter. This one especially. But Iain M. Banks. Iain M. Banks. He's an absolutely fantastic author. I talked about him in the science fiction authors you guys may not have heard of, and he definitely made it on that list because he's an incredible author with a huge following and a ton of fantastic books. And yet, such a long-time science fiction fan as I am, I did not hear about him until he had a whole bunch of these books out, which just absolutely amazes me. I don't know how he flew under the radar to me, but Iain M. Banks. And he writes a series of novels called the Culture novels. So the Culture is based around this, I guess, empire in a way, a human empire known as, well, the Culture. And each one of these books is fairly unique. What makes it unique is not just the world that he built. Oh, I can't even call it the world because it's a multi-solar system empire. So I guess the galaxy that he built. But the mentalities and how he made it in such a way that he could write almost any genre within his books, and his books are very, 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 very different. Just to name three of his books, consider Phlebas is totally different than Player of Games, which is totally different than Use of Weapons, and yet they're all within the Culture universe. All within the Culture, hold certain things, certain commonalities. So the books occur far future, and I'm talking far, far, far future, to where the Culture is this empire of man that controls multiple solar systems that is more advanced than anything else out there. It is not all of humanity. There are other smaller kingdoms, smaller empires, smaller colonies, such. They still have multiple systems, of course, that are not part of the Culture, but are human and all stem from Earth, but they're not as advanced. The Culture is by far the most advanced. They are definitely a post-scarcity, utopian type society, so far advanced that if you figure, take some of the bigger science fiction universes out there, say Star Trek or Star Wars, one or two Culture spaceships could probably annihilate the entire fleet from either one of those universes. And especially if you think how powerful the Star Trek universe ships are, stuff like that, the Culture ships would just wipe them out. We'll wipe them out. One ship could probably wipe out the whole fleet. Two, almost definitely, the right two. So they're very, very, very far advanced. Mostly controlled by AIs. AIs are considered their own people, and mostly controlled by AIs, although humanity is still, fairly strong. Again, post-scarcity, utopian, they can pretty much do whatever they want. But one of the things they do is they definitely do not have a prime directive. They try and influence or change the societies outside of the Culture when they think they're going the wrong direction, or they just disagree with either their morality, their politics, how they treat their people, things along those lines. They will try and change things, but they don't generally do it through force. Oftentimes they will do it through trickery, subterfuge, and that's where a lot of these books come into play. More often than not, they occur on different planets, different worlds, different kingdoms, different empires. Just loose, the Culture is either a puppet master or almost a side character or the overlord to one of the characters. Some of the best books, if you have not checked out Iain M. Banks and Culture and you want to, the 3 books I already mentioned would be the ones that I would most recommend. Consider Phlebas, if I recall correctly, is the first book that he wrote in the culture universe, so it's a good starting point, but you don't have to read any of them in any particular order. Because, again, they're all pretty much self-contained stories that with almost zero connection to it. More often than not, absolute zero connection to any of the other books. My 2 personal favorites, Player of Games and Use of Weapons. Player of Games is interesting because it takes a whole different slant on things. This diplomatic and almost military mission is based on a game. It's based on a game. They take a master game player and send him on this mission basically to play a game. And it's pretty fascinating. It's pretty cool. There's one little twist they try and put in at the end that honestly saw coming, but overall pretty cool. My absolute favorite, Use of Weapons. Use of Weapons is a little bit different than a lot of the other culture books because one of the things with the culture is they really eschew violence. They are definitely very they're not pacifists per se, but they eschew violence as much as they can. They of course will defend themselves, but they're not a particularly violent culture anymore, or at least they pretend not to be. They have weapons of war that are absolutely incredible, and drones that do great things as well. A lot of their violence through proxy that then they can pretend to be offended. They're not pretend that they could be offended by and all that because the drones actually did it, not them, and they're offended at their drones. It's basically violence through proxy, but Use of Weapons has basically a culture secret agent in a way, and a very violent one. Very violent, basically a killer. A stone cold killer, assassin, military leader, military general, a brilliant killer again. And that is the central point of Use of Weapons. Use of Weapons, again, it's one of my favorites, and generally it's considered one of the better culture novels, but it is also considered almost impossible to turn into any kind of movie or even miniseries. While I do think it could maybe be turned into a miniseries, I think it'd be still very difficult. But the twist that is in it, this is one of the few twists that I absolutely did not see coming until near the end, till near the very end. Absolutely phenomenal. So if you're going to check out any culture books, I would check out Use of Weapons, Player of Games, consider Phlebas. Thank you everybody for watching. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now.